In this video we're going to be covering the next two races in our iRacing career that couldn't have gone any more differently. Hey guys, and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you are watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. In today's video we're covering two races at the Jefferson circuit here at Summit Point Motorsports Park in West Virginia in the good old US of A. This is a little circuit, only 1.8 kilometers or 1.1 miles, with a couple of real tricky turns in it. So you join us here in qualifying. As with all the races in iRacing, you have a format of practice, quali and then a race. Here we've had a 3-minute practice. We're now in an 8-minute qualifying session where you do an out lap, 2 fast laps and an in lap should you choose to do so. As we come across the line here, we're going to put in a 55.229, which as you can see is my fastest time around this track, which puts us on pole. Here we are then for race number 1. The lights have gone green and we get a decent start off the line. You can see the guys in the rear view there. The white car is going to get overtaken by the red Mazda on the inside. And what we're going to try and do here is just try and escape from the pack. The reason for this is obviously I want to win the race. That's a given. But also I want to, and I think I mentioned it in the last race quite a lot, I want to make sure that the incident points that I get are minimal, because at this stage we want to get up to Racing License C to get to the bigger boy cars and leagues, and in order to do that we need to prove our safety in these smaller leagues. Now also, one thing you may notice is that the graphics look a little bit different. Now some people commented on the graphics saying, oh, iRacing graphics are poor, and I have a feeling I may have been culpable for that. So I had it limited at 50 frames per second because I was worried about, well, I, to be honest, wasn't as educated as I should have been on my PC, and I, despite custom building it to quite a high spec, I had it limited at 60 frames per second so that it wouldn't eat into it and all this sort of stuff. But I did a bit of a practice taking the shackles off it, and we are now getting between 300 to 500 frames per second. You can see it there in the top right flickering away. We're currently about 300, and that will, as I say, fluctuate between 3 and 500, so I'm hoping the quality is a bit better for you all. Back to the racing then. So this track, as we've mentioned before, is the Jefferson circuit at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Now this is a very short track, but it's got two very hard corners on this track. This is because the weight shifts massively in this Mazda. There's lots of undulation, and the relative softness of this car in comparison to what I'm usually used to, which are the GT cars. So this is the first section of the circuit here. To be honest, reasonably easy, but then it all changes right here. So as we come down to the penultimate corner here, it's a fast flowing left-hander that's off camber as well on the exit, so that can cause you massive problems as well. But this, the corner we're about to come up to, you're going to see is going to be the biggest issue for me. So you need to trail brake into here, but I press on the brake just too hard, make a right dog's dinner of it trying to save it, and I come all the way down to 5th place. So rejoining the action here at the end of lap number 5, coming on to lap number 6, we've actually been promoted to 4th place as somebody lost it on the inside coming out of the penultimate corner. Easily done. We didn't see it, but we need to be aware of it all the same. So we're still following Libero at this point, I presume a Spaniard, up in front. So we've kind of not really got too much hope of the win anymore, but I'm hoping for a podium. But sometimes with me, my biggest weakness is repeating mistakes. So we're going to come in here to the hardest corner on the track in my opinion again, and I'm just going to do the exact same again, but worse. But what also is going to happen is that we are going to get collected, or sorry, we collect someone, it wasn't their fault, it was our fault, at the same time, and this car is absolutely ruined. So luckily I was close enough to the pits to dive in, but that was pretty much the end of that one. So we're going to move now onto race number 2. So we're here in quali again. We must improve on the performance of last race. We are more used to the track now, having done a few more laps. Well, a few more laps before we absolutely binned it. And we managed to put in a PB of a 55.107. Now that's good enough again to put me on pole for the second race in a row. We need to see if we can convert this one into our first win on iRacing. So green, green, green then. We're off for race number 2. Again, we get a decent start, so we're going to hold on to the lead down into turn number 1. Now, same strategy applies. We're just not going to do the crashing bit, I hope. During the practice and qualifying sessions, I managed to get the hang of certainly the final corner, which was our Achilles heel from the last race, but I'm still struggling a little bit with this corner we're coming up to here. As you can see on the what I call delta, but the relative in the bottom right, we're going to lose a little bit of time to the guy in second, and this is going to carry on every single lap. We're much stronger through the first sector and this corner, to be honest, now that we're getting it right here with the later apex, but we're just still struggling with that penultimate corner. But while I'm talking, that is how you take the final corner. Fast forwarding to lap number 4, you can tell what lap it is at the bottom of the relative there in the bottom right. We've got about a 1 second gap. Things are looking good still, but we're going to run a little bit wide here out the final corner. No real issues, however, up the top there you'll see we've got an off-track incident point, which is going to affect our safety rating, which is pretty much our number 1 priority. And I'm going to get another incident point here on lap number 12 by doing exactly the same thing. However, not all is lost, it's only 2 off-track points. It's not like a causing collision one or whatever, which gives you 4, I think, or 5 points. So we should still, if we don't get any more, see an improvement in our safety rating. So everything seems to be going well so far, generally, in iRacing. Next week is the halfway point in the season. The 6th of the 12 rounds in this season is at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Somewhere I've never raced before, but again a well-known name that I'm really excited to get on with. Then we have the following races to round out the season. We've got the Phoenix International Raceway, we're back at Okayama, then we've got Lime Rock Park for round number 9, we're back at this track at round number 10 but doing it in reverse. We've then got the full Okayama International Circuit in round 11, and then we're going to finish up with being back at Laguna Seca, by which point I hope we will be in a position to get promoted to Licence Class C, which will allow us to go up to the IMSA Sports Car Championship for next season. So that, guys, is GT cars, 45-minute races, well, sometimes they fluctuate, but 45 to an hour races at some of my favourite racetracks in the world. And yes, Spa is one of them. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. So second is still about, well, just under a second behind us. But if we just keep it on track as we start the final lap here, we should be fine, because I don't think there's many opportunities to overtake round here unless we get done like we did last time out. But I'm hoping our karma is in a good place, which means that won't happen to us. So as we're on the final lap here, I want to pose to you my question of the day. Now, we've had quite a few videos on iRacing now. I want to know again what your views are. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you like iRacing anymore since we've been doing it? Have your views changed at all with the more that you watch it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts. We're approaching the final corner now. We've managed to keep it on track, and we are going to take our first victory in iRacing. Fantastic. So as you can see here on our iRating here, we're getting closer to that magic 4.0 safety rating. But for now guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.